Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Grant. How are you?
Doing well. We got a lot to talk about. We got the NBA finals to get into because both conference finals have completed, and then we got some other things we need to talk about. So, looking forward to it. And we're going to start out this episode like we do every episode, and that is with our hot take of the week. So I'll let you go ahead and begin with that.
Yeah, so my hot take is it's just something I'm really looking forward to, and I think it's that the MLB trade deadline will be very big this year. There's so many position needy teams and it'll be very interesting to see, who could end up being where. I know there's a lot of, big names kind of being thrown around to many different teams, so it'll be cool to kind of see the say all be all. And yeah, I hope that it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to it as a team that's finally going to be buying for once. Usually we're the
Hmm.
team selling away pieces, so I'm excited to see what the Cubs do, who they're looking to buy, those kind of things. So I'm also very excited for the trade deadline. So I like that. My hot take of the week. This is nothing personal. I know you're a big Knicks guy. This has to do with the Knicks, but it's not really with the Knicks. It's more of the media that I'm targeting here. My hot take of the week is that the media is making way too many excuses for the Knicks right now. Um,
Hmm.
I keep seeing like this trend of like media trying to make it seem like Jalen Brunson carried like this team full of trash players to the conference finals. I don't think that's the case at all. I think if the Heat had OG Anunoby on their team, I'd be thrilled. Like if they had Mikal Bridges on their team, I'd be thrilled. Like these are really good players. Karl Anthony Towns would be a number one option on most teams. Uh, Josh Hart would be a great player to have on any other team. Like, I don't get where this whole trend of like saying like this Knicks roster wasn't talented or wasn't good enough. Like, I've seen a lot of people saying they need to make like drastic changes to their roster. I know we were kind of talking about that a little bit not too long ago about how I really think they're just a couple solid bench players away from being a finals contention team. I don't think the starting lineup is the issue here. Um, I just don't get the excuses that are being made. No one was making these excuses when they were beating up on the Celtics really bad. I get that like the media wants the Knicks to win, obviously, because it's a top market and the Pacers and Thunder won't get as much viewership and won't get as much money and revenue. But I just don't get all the excuses that are being made for the Knicks right now.
Yeah, I mean, as a Knicks fan, I'm on all like the Twitter stuff and fan pages, and I will say that none of the actual fans are even saying this. It's all
Yeah,
just
no, I know.
like top media stuff. So, um, uh, you know, it's not like last year where guys were just getting hurt left and right in the semifinals. It's like we just didn't play enough, like well enough to win. That's literally all it was. We saw in game one how bad of a crumble that was, and that just set the momentum for the rest of the series, I think. Um,
Yeah.
and it just, bench pieces is really the biggest thing. I like our starting lineup. I don't want anything to really change. I think I'm terrified of what could happen with Macau. I don't. I think we need to give or I'm not too sure what the contract's looking like, but if he has 5 first round picks, given to traded for him, he better be here for a long time. So yeah, it just it's interesting.
Yeah, so I actually just saw a tweet about the Mikal Bridges contract. His max contract offer that he can look is a 4-year, $156 million extension, and it's looking like he's going to have to take a pay cut if he's going to want to stay with the Knicks. And I saw that if he doesn't, they might look to trade him. And something I
Ugh.
saw that I thought was interested was them floating the idea around of potentially trading him for Kevin Durant was kind of what they were talking about. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Just insane. Too
Yeah.
much. Way too much given up
Yeah.
for 1 year.
Yeah. That would be crazy. Um, all right, now we're gonna go ahead and slide into our underdog of the week. So I'll let you go ahead and take that away.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure if you kind of saw this or I don't know if it's a big story, but kind of a story develop in MLB the past few days, and that's Cole Young getting called up to the big show for the Mariners,
Mhm.
and he got a walk off hit in his first game being called up. So I just want to give a shout out to him. That's pretty cool to see as a MLB fan.
Yeah, I did see that walk off. That was cool to see for sure. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, we'll see if he can stay hot after that. Definitely probably a dream
Hmm.
come true for him. So cool to see. Um, my underdog of the week, I am going with the best power hitter in baseball at this time, and it is not Shohei Ohtani and is not Aaron Judge. My underdog of the week is Cal Raleigh, who is leading the MLB in home runs with 23 home runs. And mind you, he hit 6 home runs this last week. There's only 7 days in a week, and he hit 6 home runs. That's just crazy. And
Yeah.
not to mention, this dude is a catcher, and not just like a catcher, he's a gold glove catcher. So on top of hitting 23 home runs so far this season. He's playing gold glove defense behind the plate, and he's a switch hitter. This dude's the most underrated player in baseball right now, in my opinion. Quietly putting together an MVP caliber season for the Mariners. And yeah, I can't wait to see how many home runs he finishes up with, leading the league right now. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out moving forward.
Yeah. Hopefully he won't be first all year.
We'll see. Um, all right, now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the NBA. And like I said, the conference finals have finished up. So we're going to do a quick little recap, our final thoughts on the series. We'll start with the West. That would be the Timberwolves versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Mason, what were your thoughts on this series?
It kind of was underwhelming, to be honest. I didn't expect too much, and we didn't get too much. So, what was expected, was happened pretty. So, like I said, coming into I think just the postseason in general, I think that the Thunder are going to win it all. So, they showed that they're a team that has the potential to do that. So, yeah, I don't really think there's too much to really be said there. Everyone played how they were supposed to. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it was just kind of like what happened was what everyone thought was going to happen, like you said. And I think I was a little let down by Anthony Edwards and his performances. I know he had
Yeah.
some good games, but I don't know. It wasn't what I was quite expecting from him. I was really expecting him to rise to the occasion, have some 40-point, 50-point games, and that just didn't happen. Julius Randle took a step back from everything he was doing leading up to it. He kind of disappeared. Um, yeah, Timberwolves are an interesting team because they got some like good players, but I just don't think they're good enough to get over that hump and really make it to the finals and have a chance at it. Um, but yeah, kind of what I was expecting. The Thunder, handled their business, and I think ultimately Thunder are probably going to win the finals. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that as well. Now we'll go ahead and slide over to the more interesting series, which was the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks. What were your thoughts on that series?
Yeah, I mean, losing 2 at home, the first 2 games at home, that I think it caught everyone by surprise. I think at most, everyone's kinda expecting a 1-1 series, they'd take one at home, and it could I think a lot of people expected to go 7. Clearly didn't end up that way. Pacers won in 6. Siakam just turned it on, and once he turned it on, he didn't look back, and, the guys who needed to play big played big. They made shots when they needed to. I think TJ McConnell, I don't know the actual stats, but I wouldn't be surprised if he shot or like around 85% field goal percentage. So that man makes almost everything. That little free throw midi he makes, it's just insane. So yeah, they were the better team. We didn't play the way we should have, and just let it get away too early, and it showed. So yeah,
First things first, I owe the Pacers a huge apology. I have been disrespecting them
yeah,
all season long, all playoffs long. I wasn't buying what they were, producing out on the court. I didn't expect this from them. But man, they've had quite the run to get to the finals. It's very impressive to see Tyrese Halliburton's turning into a superstar in front of our very own eyes. And look, one thing that goes without saying, it's so important to have that guy on your roster that's made it to the finals before, like Pascal Siakam has. That, like, you can tell that that kind of experience really helps your team out. I mean, we saw that Siakam won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and he just looked so ready for that moment. And that's just huge to have that guy with experience on your team. And I think the Pacers team, the reason they really beat the Knicks was just because of how deep they are. A really wide bench unit that they can have come off the bench. And like you said, TJ McConnell, a huge part of that. They just looked really good and played really fast pace. And I owe them an apology. I was not familiar with their game. I did not expect that from them.
Yeah.
As far as the Knicks side goes, I think they had a great season. And like I said, I think that they just don't have enough depth. And I was kind of telling you this before the season, right when they first got Karl Anthony Towns, about how his defense in the playoffs is going to become an issue. That was my one knock on him, and I think we really saw that come into fruition during that series. So I think if the Knicks really want to win, they need to find a defender, like a really solid defender to stack next to him. I know Mitchell Robinson is really good at interior defense, but I think they also need to find someone that can do some perimeter
Yeah.
defense as well. But yeah, I mean, I know everyone's like upset that the Pacers won. Outside of that game one that like was a really embarrassing loss for the Knicks, I feel like the Pacers really just earned everything that they got. I think they, like you said,
They
were the better
did.
team. It's not like some super embarrassing like series loss for the Knicks, in my opinion, that everyone's making it out to be. I think the Pacers are just a really good team that had the Knicks number this series.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like we can't ever get past the Pacers, especially the last 2 seasons. So,
Yeah.
I don't want to play them again in the playoffs just because of how history has been. But yeah, I think we just definitely underdeveloped how as far as how we did, and our defense was atrocious. Not just Cat.
Mm.
I think McCall played not his best defense, and OG even he wasn't doing what he usually does. So yeah, especially offensively as well. He wasn't really kind of putting up numbers that he usually does. He's kind of very hot and cold though. So yeah, it's just very interesting.
Yeah. And then one final thing before we move over to the finals. Something that's going around on Twitter right now is the debate on who should have won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Do you think
Mhm.
they made the right choice with Pascal Siakam, or do you think Tyrese Halliburton deserved it?
I thought Tyrese should have got it. I
I
fully
agree.
expected him to, but biased opinion, I was happy he didn't. So
That's
yeah,
fair. I think
yeah,
that Pascal Siakam had a huge series for them, and they obviously I don't think they could have won without him. But you can say the same exact thing for Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, he had some crazy games in this series. Outside of that one 8-point game he had, he was playing phenomenal basketball. So I also think that Halliburton should have got it. But it's not like Siakam's not deserving of it. He definitely had uh,
yeah,
his case for it, and ultimately won. So I don't think that. I don't like the
yeah.
whole conference final MVP thing to begin with. I don't think it's like
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it anyway, but yeah, I think Halliburton deserved it.
it's so funny just
Uh,
seeing how like they're putting the two together as far as like the Halliburton thing and then like the Drewski thing for like the
oh yeah,
celebrity
yeah,
all star
yeah,
game. That was
yeah,
so funny.
yeah. It's funny. We're gonna go ahead and slide into the finals now, which is gonna be the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Mason, what are your thoughts about this upcoming finals? Do you think it's gonna be a good finals? Do you think it's gonna be short? Like, what are you thinking going into this?
I think this will just be a very fast-paced finals. I really think that everyone's expecting a sweep, but knowing how the Pacers have been in the postseason just in general, I think that they could shock people and could push it to maybe 6 or 7, but I don't think they'll win it. I don't think they'll you know have the power to get it done. This Thunder team is great, and I'm trying to give Pacers the benefit of the doubt just because of they're they've been the biggest underdogs, I think we've seen in the past few both seasons. So, um, I wouldn't put it past them to make it a good series, but I do think that the Thunder will win in 6 or maybe even 7, but realistically, I could see it being 6.
Yeah. First thing I think of this finals, I know a lot of people wanted to see the Knicks in the finals, and like obviously the NBA wanted to see the Knicks in the finals because of revenue and stuff like that. But I think real basketball fans, like people that really enjoy the game, are really going to enjoy this series. I think it's going to be some really high level, fast paced basketball, like you said.
Mhm.
And it's almost going to be a chess match because the Pacers play phenomenal offense and the Thunder are known to play phenomenal defense. So it's going to be very interested to see how that plays out. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun games. I think you're going to see a lot of shootouts between Shea and Halliburton, which is going to be a lot of fun to
Yep.
see. Um, I'm not going to disrespect the Pacers again because I've been doing it every single
Yeah, I
series
know.
that they've
I
been
know.
in. And the old me would say that I think the Thunder would win in 4 or 5, but because I'm a changed man, I'm gonna say the Thunder will win in 6 or 7. I
Right.
still think the Thunder are the better team and that they will win, but I will not be surprised at all if the Pacers keep doing that voodoo magic that they're claimed of doing and somehow win the NBA Finals. But I think this is going to be a very fun series, and I'm excited to watch it. Obviously, as a Heat fan, it makes me very happy to see the Celtics out, the Knicks out, the Bucks out. Obviously, the Sixers didn't even make the playoffs. So, as a Heat fan, if I can't see my team win, I don't want to see any of my other rivals win. So, I'm happy to see two teams that I can kind of root for here in the finals.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Go Thunder. Go. Get it done in 4.
Really? So
Yeah,
you
man.
don't want to see the. I'm just kidding. I know.
I can't see the
I
Pacers
know.
win. I'd hurt myself. Not hurt myself. No,
I,
that'd hurt me. That's what I meant.
I will say this. I think I'm personally rooting a little bit more for the Pacers. Just because of the fact that they remind me so much of the Heat team that made it to the finals as the 8th seed. Just a resilient team that no one ever had win in. And I would like to see them finish the job like the Heat couldn't. I think it'd be cool to
Yeah.
see. But I'm not be upset at all to see the Thunder win. I'm very pleased with this finals, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
I can enjoy, just sit back, relax, and enjoy it for once. Like I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of loves an underdog story, and that's really what the
Yeah,
Pacers are. So yeah, it's good for basketball, I think, like you were saying earlier.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll see
Mm.
how that goes. That's going to start later this week, and we'll be covering it probably on the next episode and seeing how it goes. Now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the MLB, and we're going to do what we do every week, and that is our player of the week and team of the week. We'll start with our player of the week, and I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. So my player of the week is one of my favorite players to use in MLB The Show, and that is Christian Yelich. The past week he was batting 500 batting average, 3 home runs and 9 ribbies, including his first career walk-off home run versus the Red Sox, which just happened to be a grand slam. So that's really cool to see from a guy like Yelich.
Yeah, he's had a great week. Like you said, you're very good with him at MLB The Show. Unfortunately, he's a Milwaukee Brewer, so I'm not a big fan of Yelich. But yeah, I like that pick. My pick, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Rays prospect, Junior Caminero. Had a
Okay.
fantastic week. He went 11 to 29, which is a 379 batting average. He had 8 extra base hits and 13 RBIs. Just a really good week. Um, Kind of co-won AL Player of the Week with Cal Raleigh, who was my underdog of the week. So wanted to mention both of them. And, the Rays, they haven't had a whole lot of bright spots this season or the last few years, to be fair. So it's good to see some success out of there with probably their top prospect, I'd say, in Junior Caminero. So, yeah, that's my player of the week.
Yeah, I think that the most exciting thing for the Rays this year was the stadium change. I know a lot of people don't like it just because it's different, but I went to a game earlier this season and it was a great time. Just seeing baseball played outside in Tampa, and it was a beautiful ballpark. Don't get me wrong. So It was very small because it's kind of, a spring training park, but it kind of had that home feeling to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't taken a trip there yet. Maybe I will. But yeah, I've heard some good reviews on it. Um, but yeah, now we'll go ahead and go into our team of the week. So I'll let you go ahead and take that away.
Yeah, my fault, bro. I accidentally doubled up on the Brewers hype because they are on an 8 game win
Yeah, I'm
streak
aware.
and third in the NL Central behind the Cardinals and Cubs. So they're still a couple games back. So I wouldn't be too worried if I were you. But yeah, they are doing pretty well in the past week.
Oh yeah, I'm aware. Trust me, I've been watching those stand-ins like a hawk, and the Cardinals have been right on our butt, and now it seems like the Brewers are going to be right on our butt. So it's going to be a tight race in the NL Central. It's looking like. I'm hoping we can space it out a little bit. But my team of the
Yeah.
week, staying biased, 2 weeks in a row. I'm going with the Chicago Cubs. Look,
Yep.
they're 12-3 in their last 15 games. That's just incredible. They have the second best record in the NL, right behind the Mets. Um, just been playing such great baseball. And let me remind you, this is all without Justin Steele, their ace, Shota Imanaga, their second best pitcher. This is without Porter Hodge, who is their best bullpen arm. And this is also without Miguel Amaya, our starting catcher. So they've just been dealing with a lot of injuries, but still persevering and finding ways to win baseball games. And that's just been absolutely huge. I know we're in a easier part of our schedule right now, but Cubs fans haven't seen a Cubs team go out and handle business on a weak part of their schedule in a long time. Usually we're 500 against teams that are below 500. So to see them go 12-3 during this stretch is really encouraging to see. The schedule does toughen up this week. Later this week, we play the Detroit Tigers, who are the best team in baseball right now. So that'll be an interesting series to see how that shapes out. But yeah, I got to go with the Cubs right now for my team of the week. I'm proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now next thing I want to talk about in MLB, we're not quite at the trade deadline yet, but we're certainly starting to get some of these rumors popping up here and there. So it's starting to get my mind going a little bit. I want to know what your or what your dream semi-realistic trade is for your team to make, like something you could see happen and that would be really nice for your team that will really get you across the finish line in your opinion.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned to you a little earlier that I'm not huge on the names and like who's kind of good role players and what as far as MLB, just because it's so much changes that happen, and I'm still kind of relatively getting used to all the names like that. But from a Yankees fan perspective, I would love to see another solid, I think bullpen lefty, and then I think another starting pitcher, and if not, we can't do kind of like an arm kind of thing like that. I'd love to see a third baseman. I know Jazz is coming back this week. I think he's coming back tonight, which is great to see. First time he's played since I think April 20th or something, so that'll be awesome. And then yeah, that way he can play second and then have someone that we can trust in third. Because right now it's just kind of like the younger prospect guys who, are batting like 160, and it's like, they'll get a hit here and now, but or here and then. But yeah, if we could just get another solid bat or another solid arm, whether it's bullpen or starting pitcher, I'd absolutely love it. So as far as names, I honestly couldn't tell you, but those are the positions I'd like to attack.
Yeah, I think what kind of stinks for you is a player that really would have been gettable. I feel like is Nolan Arenado, and he would have fit the bill perfectly. But the St.
Yeah.
Louis Cardinals are winning games now, so I don't know if they're going to be as
Uh,
lenient towards selling him this trade deadline. I don't know if they'll do that anymore. And I feel like that was a
mhm.
really good piece that you could have gone after. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you guys do. Um, Now for my Cubs, I really want to see us get a starting pitcher and a bullpen arm. I think those are two necessities. Losing Justin Steele for the year was a huge blow for us. I really think we need to go out and get an ace pitcher because we lost our ace, to be fair. So we need to really go get a solid number one starter. And I think you still need a really good bullpen guy, potentially a closer. And I'm looking at a team that has been pretty bad this year that has both those things that we can acquire. and that is the Boston Red Sox. Now, hear me out. What if we threw together a package of all these prospects we have? We have some of the best prospects in baseball. What if we threw a package together and brought back Garrett Crochet and Aroldis Chapman in a deal? That would really fire me up, and I think that would be what could really make us a World Series contender. And I think Jed Hoyer knows that. I don't know how realistic the Garrett Crochet is. That one's just more of me dreaming big, because that would be a fantastic starting pitcher to get. But I have already seen the rumors on Aroldis Chapman, and I have seen that the Cubs are expected to be very interested in Chapman, and that would be huge because this year he's been fantastic. He's still throwing 102, 103 miles per hour. And let's just say last time the Cubs acquired Chapman at the trade deadline, something pretty good happened. So maybe history could repeat itself there. So yeah, those are my two targets are on the Boston Red Sox. Another player that interests me a lot is on the Oakland Athletics, and that's Mason Miller. I think that would be a great get if you can somehow make that happen. Also, probably one of the best closers in baseball. So, yeah, I got some big dreams this trade deadline. I'm very excited to
Yeah.
go through it as the next few weeks pass.
Yep.
All right, so now we're going to head into our final thing. We're going to be talking a little UFC, which we haven't done in a little bit. UFC 316 is this weekend, and we're really just going to talk about the main card real quick, give our predictions, because it's going to be Merab versus Sean O'Malley, part two. Obviously, Merab won in the Sphere the last time they faced off, which was a big upset at the time. So, Mason, what are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you think is going to win?
I think that Sean O'Malley really needs to just change up his whole game plan from last time, because obviously it didn't work. He was playing conservative the whole time. He was getting thrown around. He was literally getting, kissed on his back in a championship or a belt game or match. Sorry, and he just he just looked like he was just a rag doll, honestly. So if he can come out and be the aggressor and really get some, strikes in like he's known to do, he's not a guy that's known for ground, like getting on the ground game. So if he could just get to what he's comfortable with and execute in a good fashion, then I think he'll be able to get the win out. But if Marab, he does his game plan and just throws him around the whole time, I think he'll be able to win. So it really just depends on kind of where the fight ends up going. So
Yeah.
if they stand up, I think Sean will win.
Yeah, I agree. I expect to see a much more disciplined O'Malley this fight. I think he kind of didn't take it serious the last time around, especially with the
Hmm.
takedown defense and ground game. I'm hoping that he's improved that going into this fight, because that's what Marab's going to try to do, because he knows that that's his
It
key to
worked.
win. So I'm
Yep.
hoping that we see a more disciplined version of O'Malley, and he keeps it up in the air and can strike better, and we'll pull out a win here. I expect him to win this fight. I don't think he'll make the same mistake twice. I think Marab got a little lucky in that first one, because I really think that O'Malley just underestimated him, and Marab took advantage of that, to be fair. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this fight plays out. We obviously know Marab has a crazy gas tank, and we know that he's one of the best grapplers and ground game fighters in the UFC. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually looking forward to this fight, but something to keep an eye
Hmm.
on. We did see that Marab has an injury right now. It looks like he has a broken toe. Don't know how much of a factor that's
Hmm.
going to play in, but it's just something to keep an eye on. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, well, man, last time I remember being so frustrated just because Sean just wasn't doing anything, like literally
Yeah.
nothing. I don't even know how many strikes he got off, but um, yeah, I hope he just completely change his game plan and at least make an effort to win. Because last time I don't think there was even a question of he won a single round. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, just hope for a different outcome this time around.
Yeah, and I think I'm expecting that. Um,
Yeah.
I'd just be so shocked if O'Malley doesn't pull this off. But I have been disrespecting Marab in every fight that he's been in,
Yeah,
so
I could
maybe it's
I
time I
could
start
see it.
putting respect on his name.
Yeah, yep.
All right, well, we'll see how that goes, and that's pretty much going to wrap up our episodes this week. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on all things sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant Mason sign off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.